Hey, Brian Freeman here. Hey, thanks again for joining us here on the Real Property Show today. I wanted to talk to you today about build costs. So if you're building a custom home or you're thinking about it and you want to know, hey, how can I actually figure out what it's going to cost to build? I'm going to show you how to do that and how we do it and the three sections of the home that we break it in that allow you to do it really quick. And we're going to go through the actual ranges of the cost of it costs. You can maybe an average level of finish costs this much, and a luxury level finish or an upscale level costs this much. We're going to give you the range on the different areas of the home, the living area, the covered porches, and also the garages, and show you how you can apply that to your project. So if you've listened to any of these other cost guide videos that we have, as far as how to figure out what the entire project's going to cost, you want to go back and listen to those again, because you know that there's more than one component here. This is just the structure, the build cost. Doesn't include site costs, permits and fees, or plans and design. Doesn't include the land. So we're just going to be talking about the actual build cost today, how you actually do that part of it. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to show you the examples, a couple of documents here. So if you're listening on the podcast, make sure that you jump over to our YouTube channel to look at this, and it'll help you. I'm going to talk through it, so you'll be able to get it if you're on the podcast too, but it'll be even better if you're on the YouTube channel. So make sure you do that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now with you. Give me 1 second. All right, there's the screen, and I'm going to grab a pointer here so I can show you what I'm actually talking about. So, okay, so what we're looking at right now is we're looking at an actual floor plan. Okay, this is a house that we built, and I want to show you how we break this apart. So the first thing that we're looking at when we're pricing out a home is we're looking at the actual living space and living area, we would call it. And then we break it up into the covered porch sections and then the garages. Okay. Now, when you talk to a builder and you go, hey, what is your price per square foot? And he goes, it's 250 or it's 300 or it's 400 or whatever he tells you. The one thing you have to be clear on with them is what is included in that. Does that include just a living area? Does that include the garages and the porches? Is it all encompassing of everything? What's included in that price? Okay. So it could even have the site costs in it, permits and fees, and all the whole bit. So you really have to break apart and say, what are you including in this price per foot? Because it could be different, and it's really a moving target. Okay. And the other thing that really drives price per foot is the level of finishes inside the home. So you have, and what we'll show you today is average up to the luxury, like I was telling you about, or the upscale, and you'll be able to see the variation. A next video we're going to do, we're actually going to be talking about, I'm going to actually go in and show you on our website the actual projects, what's an average level of finish and what's the actual upscale level of finish, and show you exact examples. So, but for now, I'm just going to give you a range of what those are. So know that's very important as far as the level of finishes. Okay. So what we do to break this apart, and we're going to actually figure out, the first thing we do is we go, okay, what size home living area do we want in the home? We're going to establish that. Then we're going to establish the size of the garage, and this is all in square feet, square foot of the garage and square foot of the covered porches. Once we have that, then we can go ahead and we can look at these numbers, and we can multiply that and get a total cost for the living area, covered porches, garage, and then we get a total, right, of what the actual build cost would be. So the way we would do this on this particular house, to give you an example, this house, we would measure from all the exterior dimensions of the home to get the actual living footage. So that's how it's calculated. So you'd break this up. You'd either get the number from your draftsman, if that's how you're doing it, or possibly break this into some squares. You maybe do it like this, all the way over to here, or actually go to here, do a box like this, multiply this box, get the square footage, come over here, get the square footage of this box, get the total square footage. The size of it is 2,226 square feet of living area. This is what you're seeing here is actually our popular custom home floor plan download you can get. There's 23 different floor plans on this. You can get this on our website. So you can download it this way, or you can actually download these exact plans. So this is the actual plan we're looking at, is plan number 3. So you can look at it there. Okay. So this is going to be your living area. So we take that living area and multiply that times the cost for that living area, for that particular home, the level of finish that it has in it. All right. So then what we're going to do is next thing we'll do is we'll establish the covered porch areas, which is this. So here you can see the post and beam line that runs right here. So we would take this area, get a square footage of this, and then you can see the beam line that runs right here. So we get the area of this plus this area here that's outside the house here. Okay, so that's be our covered porches, and then we would take this area here and for our garage, and we would multiply this and get the square footage of our garage. And then that would allow us to multiply again and get the cost for the total cost for that garage area. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm actually going to jump over and I want to show you, we're going to look at this next document here. And the next document, so this one is recapping what I just mentioned, and then I'm going to go over the actual dollar amounts here. So below are examples of rough prices per square foot that you can use to figure for the living area, covered porches, and garages. The bottom of the range is for the home with the average level of finishes, and the upper range is for a home with upscale finishes. So build costs, so we're seeing anything from $225 a foot on the very low end of the cost for the living area up to $400 plus. So as far as the living area of the home, the $225, that's kind of the bottom average price that you can see right now. Costs have increased probably like a 15% margin over the last year. So, and we're talking, these numbers we're talking about right now, we're April 2022. So these numbers will move. So the closer you are to April 2022, the more accurate they're going to be, but that's what they are currently right now. Okay. So porches, covered porch areas. These are going to be typical covered porches. These are not open beam porches. These are not porches that have a lot of stained grade wood and that they will go higher, but you're going to run from anywhere from $85 to $105 a square foot. So take your porch area, multiply times 85 to 105 a foot, and that's where you're going to end up. Okay. Some of the simpler porches, they're less than that. They can be less than that, but then the more complicated ones are going to be even higher than that as far as the open beam, the stained grade, anything you do like that. There's some type of a structural issue that makes it more difficult to build. So that's kind of the ballpark area. All right, so garages, okay, attached garages. So we're not talking about detached. Detached a little bit more money because you have another wall you have to build that's not attached to the house. So, and you have to site it. But attached garages are running anywhere from 115 a foot. It's like a 9-foot plate line on a garage, flat ceiling, just drywall inside, about 115, upwards of 170 a foot. So the difference between the 170, 115 could be wall height, right? So if you have an RV bay in your garages or taller walls, you're going to have more lumber, more labor, more drywall. More siding on the outside drives the price per square foot up. So that's where your range is going to go, depending on what type of garages that you have. Okay, so that's that. All right, something to recap, right, that we just already talked about is you have, what is included. This is just the build cost we talked about, right? So the actual total cost of the project, you got to go back to that. So 4 to 6% of the project cost can be plans and design. So the build cost times 4 to 6%, plus your permits and fees, plus your site costs. Site costs vary for every project because you don't know if you're on a well, you're on a water meter, you have a city sewer, you got a septic, where are your utility connections from, what kind of grading do you have that's got to happen. All of those things vary. Site costs vary huge. Check out our other video on site costs and they'll give you a better idea of what those you can kind of roughly expect for those site costs. Okay. Building costs, just covered them, right? So we're going to go back and we're going to add up our plans of design, permits and fees, plus our site costs, plus our build cost is going to give us our actual total cost for our project. And don't forget your land either. Your land, is going to obviously need to be added into that. So if you're looking to get a loan, you want to make sure that you factor that in too. So, all right. So one thing I wanted to mention to you too, if you have more questions about this, we just added something new to our website. Go to our website at realpropertytv.com. And there's a voicemail tab on the right-hand side. Tap on that voicemail tab and you can leave a 30-second voicemail with a question, and we will do our very best to answer it here on podcast to get you more info if you have a specific question. So, all right. So I hope that was helpful understanding build costs, and stay tuned. The next thing we're going to be talking about is we're actually going to give you exact tour on our website of projects we have videos and 3D tours of and pictures to show you what type of projects, the level of finishes that are average and upscale, and give you the exact numbers it costs to build those particular projects. So, all right. So I hope that helps. Have a wonderful rest of your day.